Sir Keir Starmer's hailed the success of his meetings with President Trump and an £150 billion investment into Britain.
But it also put the small boats crisis back at the top of the agenda after the US leader suggested involving the military. Well, we're joined now by Business Secretary Peter Kyle. Good to speak to you this morning.
Hi, Kate.
Do you agree with President Trump that illegal immigration destroys countries from within? Do you hold that view?
What I do believe is that illegal migration is something that is impacting our politics here in the UK. It is something that the British public expect this government to get a grip on. And that is why today, when we have the second flight taking off with a migrant who doesn't have the right to stay here being returned as part of the new returns agreement with France. This is a pilot. This is something we're trialling. You can see that we're pushing the boundaries of the law, but we are straining at the bit to do it. If we have to change the law, we will change the law, as you've seen with this government as well. But we are straining at the bit and acting in every kind of way that we can. But Donald Trump also mentioned the military. We have the UK border force. We have the Navy that has the relationship with the border force and can be brought to bear if need be. But we are tightening our grip.
There is a need. He is saying there is a need, and I must say our viewers are agreeing with him. They think this, the two migrants, one yesterday and one that you've confirmed this morning, that have gone on that flight back to France, is just a drop in the ocean, particularly as tomorrow up to 10 could be coming in.
We agree with this. That's why we've always sold this as a pilot. We are testing this system because it is, by definition, a pilot. But this is what we will build upon. We cannot go from the position that we inherited from the Conservatives, where it was out of control, a system where no processes were being underway, no returns were happening, no asylum processing system was in place. But we have, over the last year, we have got the systems in place. We are ramping up.
Minister, you're blaming the Conservative Party. More than 30,000 have arrived this year. It's very interesting to spot something you said before, that you would change the law if necessary. Just to be clear, so people understand what the one-in, one-out policy is, it means that people in France, if they have a valid legal claim, will be brought here. That would include, for example, arguing various rights that they would have under the European Convention of Human Rights law. Let's say, for example, they have a family here. That means that they could come here whilst we deport somebody else. Now, in those circumstances, that's not going to make much of a difference because it's the reason people stay here in the first place. The question is, are you prepared, just like Jack Straw is suggesting, and, of course, David Blunkett, two well-known Home Secretaries, to withdraw from the European Convention of Human Rights, which is causing, for many, precisely the problem that you face now?
Well, you can see that the Shabana Mahmood already in her few days as Home Secretary is launching reviews into how the law is being applied and interpreted by the courts. This is something that we're looking very carefully at. But what you also see with us is making sure that we get a system in place that is functional.
I'm not interrupting you. Sorry, forgive me.
Rob, if you could let me...
Well, no, look, is it possible that you might withdraw from the European Convention of Human Rights? That's it. It's not a difficult one.
We have no intention of doing so, Rob. We don't believe we need to in order to get a grip on this system. And let me just explain that, yes, of course, the relationship we have with France, people will always have a right to be here. The problem is that people are coming here who do not have the right to be here, and we inherited a system where nobody was being processed. They were being put in hotels, and they were being parked in hotels for into perpetuity. They were here forever, and had there was no system of either having them processed and having the right to remain, or being deported anywhere. Right. That is what we're trying to get a grip on, dealing with the mess that we've already inherited, where tens of thousands of people are in hotels, right, dealing with people who are coming across the channel because they believed that they had the right to be here, or that there would be no consequence of being here.
So hang on, so no new deals for hotel owners. That's going to be scrapped. And on top of that, Shabana Mahmood is also, as far as we can see, going to be saying no hotels, and the court system is going to be funded so that the judges can deal with this backlog of immigration cases quicker as well. Is that right?
Well, as you see, you have a Home Secretary that is straining the bit in every single way. We are now returning people to France as part of the returns agreement. That's a pilot from which we are learning and we will build upon. You can see that we have processes in place where we are accelerating the processing of asylum seekers and people who come onto our shores here, so that is something that needs to happen in the first place so that we can get people out of hotels, be processed, returned, or have the right to remain. You know, we need to get a grip on this system, and that's what we're doing. But you also saw with the state visit yesterday, $250 billion worth of commercial opportunities between Britain and America. There was a lot that was being discussed here, and this was just one comment that President Trump made. Sure. He made lots and lots of comments about the future economic relationship between our two countries and the renewal of the special relationship for the age that we're living in.
The foundation for that deal was built with your predecessor not long ago, Jonathan Reynolds. You've been in place as a business secretary for a short period of time, but a lot of the deal was done in part, certainly, by the late Ambassador Peter Mandelson. You talk about due diligence and the processes being in place. He was sacked after having connections, to say the least, with a convicted child sex trafficker. You said his singular talents were worth the risk of hiring him. Do you stand by that now?
Look, what we saw was evidence coming to light that wasn't available at the time. As you can see, all of the people who played a role in that relationship, and I was, in my previous job of science, innovation and technology, I was involved in negotiating the tech partnership that has delivered so many tens of billions of pounds worth of investment into Britain and creating jobs and opportunities into the future. That team delivered. Now we need a new set of skills going forward. We need a new set of opportunities going
Peter
forward.
Collar just doesn't answer the question. Let me ask you it in this way. Now, I know about how direct vetting works. I suspect, to say the least, you do. It was known at the time he was appointed that he'd stayed in the house of a convicted child sex trafficker. At that point, anybody doing analysis, right, doing the work of investigating, would have said, where are your emails? I'm going to put it in this way, because you might not know the answer to it, but if it's shown that the Prime Minister or others knew earlier that there were these emails, that there was this contact, and still appointed him, do you think all of those people should resign?
What I know is that there was an independent system that was the vetting system that's happened in all of these circumstances. All of the systems that were in place for all of the public appointments of this nature were in place and were carried out, and there was also a political process that was going on in Number 10 at the time. All of these things were done in the functional, usual way at that appointment. New evidence came to light. The system, the Prime Minister made the decision that he did swiftly upon having access to the emails overall. But look, let's just focus on the fact, because there was a lot of focus on this over the course of an entire week. What has also happened in the last couple of days is the President of the United States has come here with a delegation of American businesses, including Jensen Huang, the chief executive of NVIDIA, the biggest company in the world, who has come here and said that Britain has the potential to be an AI superpower, that he is now going to partner with Britain to make us an AI superpower. That means already, because of the decisions that we are taking, we're not just shoveling money into the City of London or the South East and areas around here, even though those areas will benefit from these deals. We have made sure that the decisions we have taken are creating 1,000 jobs in Belfast, tens of billions of pounds being invested into the northeast of England, into Scotland, and into parts of the country that have been left behind. That shows a government that is capable of negotiating and delivering for our country, but also that's taking decisions in the interest of everyone right around the UK. I think this is something we should celebrate as well as overcoming the challenges.
Absolutely, and we'll see how that investment plays out and how quickly it comes in and what the results are over the next up to a decade, won't we? In the meantime, though, problems have been caused within the party by how Lord Mandelson's putting into position and taking out has been handled, not least towards you, because you continue to defend him with those words that Rob illustrated after he was sacked. In fact, one minister told us at Good Morning Britain that you seem to be tone deaf, and other MPs have said that too. Is it going to have an impact on you?
Let me be really clear about this. I do not defend any of the actions that Peter Mandelson took in his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Absolutely not. What I'm trying to do is show that we have been focused as a government on delivering for people. As soon as new evidence came to light, why on earth would I ever defend what I read in those emails?
But it had, because it had come to light.
The context of those emails was not known at the time of appointment. You know, look, my job has always been to deliver for Britain. In the various jobs that Keir Starmer has appointed me to in government, I've thrown myself into. He appointed me to this job as Business as Trade 10 days ago. The very next day, I was on the plane to Washington, and I helped deliver and nail down the deal that we saw yesterday. Straight after that, I was on the plane to China, where I had the first trade negotiations with China for 7 years on behalf of our country.
Just to be clear,
I came back and then started introducing legislation and seeing through legislation for workers' rights, the biggest advancement in workers' rights our country has seen for a generation.
Listen, to close it off, the statement you made, his singular talents were worth the risk. You no longer think that?
No, what I said at the time of this coming out is explaining why he was appointed in the first place. Nobody is appointed to becoming ambassador to a great country on behalf of our country unless you have talents.
Maybe they hadn't shared the information with you that led to him to be sacked.
The talents we needed at that moment in time were the ones that Peter had. Of course, as soon as the evidence was emerged that shed new light on that situation, he had to be recalled. He should have been recalled.
Yeah.
I believe that the decision to recall him was the correct one. But what I was doing, of course, was explaining why he was appointed in the first place. And the fact that Keir Starmer has thrown himself into a relationship with America in unconventional times with an unconventional administration shows that we have a Prime Minister that does what it takes to deliver for this country in all times. And that's what people right around the country are benefiting from right now.